great marriage. And
baloney. You don't have a great marriage. You're at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're bawling your eyes out. You're calling to the Ramsey show because your husband had made you upset. No, this is not a great marriage. Stop lying to yourself. It's a great marriage so long as you get what you want. And when you don't get what you want, you sit and you cry on the phone over it. Put the words right out in front. Okay, this is not a great marriage. Don't sit and ignore your responsibility in the marriage as to why your husband is dismissing what it is that you want, because it's been brewing in him for some time.
Hi, well, I'm making this phone call a little earlier than I anticipated. My husband and I have worked really hard and paid off our home. We'll have paid off our home this January. We have our last like $5,000 left on our home, and we'll be paid at the end of the month.
Oh my gosh,
really
Jana!
To doing our debt screening with you guys.
That's amazing. I mean,
all right, this just ran a day ago, so it just ran yesterday, and it sounds as though this couple is just rounding the corner of paying off their home. But the fact that they're calling into the Ramsey show after having done it tells me that there's a problem, and the title is called "I'm Upset at My Husband for Buying a Truck."
being paid off and everything.
Yeah, just $5,000 left. However, I'm really, actually, I wish I could be celebrating, and I'm so upset right now. My husband just left our home at 3 o'clock this morning to drive across the country to buy a brand new truck. I guess this is his way of celebrating. Like, we haven't even done it yet. But unfortunately, we're going to have to take out a car loan for this brand new truck that he is traveling across the country for. And I'm just so angry and also hurt. This is not something I agreed on.
This is a total surprise.
I just feel I'm so mad and angry and
Gianna.
upset.
Yeah.
And what a big accomplishment we had, and now I feel like we're just, that clean slate that we have is just being pounded on with another, with more debt.
Okay, so
all right, I'm going to jump in before the hosts do. That's only because it's my channel. Okay, so this has gone from, hey, great, we've paid off our house. All right, like I said, this is very current, just ran yesterday, so I guess they're getting ready to call that mortgage done, and then he gets in his vehicle, excuse me, at 3 o'clock in the morning to go buy another vehicle, a truck, that they're going to have to pay a vehicle payment on. Now, as you know, I hear this for the first time with you guys, and I judge these strictly by the title. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't think this is, she's obviously upset, but my gut hunch, this isn't about the truck. As a matter of fact, what she has said and his actions speak so much louder, in my opinion, than just the fact that they paid off their home and should be happy. That's on the surface. But underneath all that, I feel that there is a rumbling. There is a volcano rumbling. It's been there for a while. So, again, I'm going to jump ahead of the hosts here, okay? She really sounds deeply upset. It's the type of crying that I would have to say this isn't about the truck. I want to know, what is your actual relationship like? In other words, for a guy to hop in his vehicle at 3 o'clock in the morning, where are they at? They're in Phoenix, Arizona. So I think she said he's driving across country. Okay, so obviously he's driving multiple states away. For him to jump in his vehicle at 3 o'clock in the morning to leave his wife behind, probably knowing that she's upset about this, tells you more about the relationship, about the marriage between them, than paying off any house ever could. This family, mark my words, it's not about a vehicle. It's about her, I suspect from the tears, it's about her feeling like all of her hopes, dreams, desires have been dismissed. And it's easy for us to say, well, she's upset because they're not in the debt freedom status anymore, which of course would upset me to no end either, okay, if this was something that we had been working towards. However, I suspect what's really has happened is the husband feels that he has placated to her, acquiesced to her, pick one of those words, that in his mind, I suspect he was going, all right, it does benefit us both to have a house that's paid off, granted. But for all the years that I've been married, I'm thinking from the husband's standpoint here, I feel like I've done whatever she wants. She wants it, she gets it. She wants to buy this, she gets it. She wants this paid off, we're doing it. But the husband doesn't feel that he's gotten what he wants out of the deal. This is what I suspect. Because her tears are deep. You can feel it. She's saying, I'm so upset about this. Like, this hurts her to the core. This is not about a truck. It's about how their marriage has been running. And I suspect it's been running like this for a long time. And he finally said, never mind, and I'm using the polite word, I'm going to wait till this house is done and paid. She can't complain about it anymore, but now it's my turn to live. This is what I'm suspecting.
Was he on board all this time? Like, he's been with you?
Yeah, we are the dream team. Yes. I don't know what.
Wait, when did you find?
No. You are not the dream team. People need to stop saying, oh, we have a beautiful relationship, we're the dream team, when behind the scenes it really just kind of sucks. All right? Yes, we are the dream team. No, you thought you were the dream team. What you really had was a guy who wasn't on board as much as you thought. He was on board to pay off the house, great. But he wasn't on board about remaining debt-free. I can be on board about, I'm going to pay off the car, and then I'm just going to go buy me another car, a bigger car. So when people say that they're the dream team, that's like when, Mr. Ramsey says, so do you have any debt? And the person calls and says, oh, the only debt I have is a $200,000 student loan. We've heard that. We have heard that. I'm quoting shows that I've heard from Ramsey. So her saying, yeah, we're the dream team. Well, you ain't the dream team if you're at home court crying while your husband's taking off at 3 o'clock in the morning to go pick up a truck.
Find out about this car purchase? Was this like yesterday?
Oh, he's been saying it forever. Like forever. He wants his the Raptor, like Dave Ramsey.
And you know what she's been doing every time he's been saying it? We have to keep our eye on the prize. We're paying off the house. No, you cannot have the truck. You will not have the truck until I'm, as your wife, darn good and ready to tell you can have it. And so you know what he did to keep the peace in the family? He said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go along with the little woman like I always have, like I've done all these years. But by God, when this house is paid off, it's my turn. And I don't need to ask her for permission. I don't need to get her approval because I am, a member of this household. Heck, I'm the head of the household and I'm going to go do it. Now, I'm not saying that what he did was right because neither myself nor you, we don't have enough information about that. But I will step out on a limb and say he just might have some valid points as to why he did what he did. But we would need a whole lot more than, a few-minute phone call.
And so I'm like, after our house is paid off, after our house is paid off, after our house is paid off.
Yeah, who's dictating all this? Who has dictated this relationship? She has dictated it. Oh, I tell you, the passion knows no boundaries with me. That's what it is. Guys, this isn't that hard to figure out. It's not like I'm going on an archaeological dig here trying to figure this out. Okay? She has dictated, at least in regards to the house, as to how this is going to be done. Now, if we've watched Ramsey enough, we've heard Ramsey say, you cannot dictate to a spouse what the financial goals are going to be. You have to be in it together. So if she's doing all the dictating in her head, she's like, oh, great, we're in this all together. No, what's her name? I can't read her name. I've got stuff that's covered up on my screen and some cameras and microphones to top it off. Okay, looks like Jane or something like that in Phoenix, Arizona. No, she was in the game. She was dictating to her husband. Now, perhaps if she had actually listened to him, and she even says, if it pleases the court, she even said, I've heard him say he wants this truck, a RAV4, whatever it is. Okay, I'm not into trucks, but that's all good. Okay, he had said to her, I want this truck. I want this truck. She has dismissed it, and she's completely dismissed it for her own goals, and then she transfers those goals automatically and says, well, this is her goal. That husband is also your goal, and our goal is to pay off the house. But maybe if she had compromised a little with him, she knows he really wants this truck. He knows she really wants the house paid off. Is there a compromise? Can we get the truck and pay off the house at the same time in some way? Now, in my world, no. In my world, we would pay off the house. But when you are in a relationship, it is not a dictator of one. All right, so there might have to be some, give and take. When I was paying off my condo, it was just me. There was no one else for me to ask or anyone else I needed to consider. So I could dump everything towards the condo. But it would be different if I had somebody who said, look, as passionate as you are about the condo, I really, really want to get this truck. And here's the sad part. It could have been as simple as, and hopefully this is not some, $90,000 truck, but, maybe we'll find out, okay? It could have been something as simple as, okay, honey, if you will work with me to pay off the house, and we can clear that bill, and let's say that's just throw out a number, we spend the next 5 years paying off the house, whatever, okay? Then I'm willing to spend the next year after that to help you get your truck. And when the house is paid off, we will get you your truck, and we will keep that momentum ball going with the truck paid. And now we know with no mortgage, we know we can do it. You see? There's a compromise. Now he could hop his butt in at 3 o'clock in the morning, be happy as a clam, because he still is happy, I guarantee it to you, driving across country to go get his truck, but she wouldn't be in tears crying. Hey, this is what we do. We deep dive into this stuff, family. That's what I do on this channel. But I really, really think, was she not willing to compromise anywhere?
And obviously when we can afford it, right? Not taking out a loan. And he just...
Okay, so if I heard you right, he got up this morning at 3 a.m. today,
Yep.
and told you, hey, I'm heading out, and you say...
Yep.
I mean,
Please don't. And he says,
you don't even know. He doesn't discuss this at all. He just literally says, matter of fact, I'm going across the country to get a Raptor.
He tried to discuss it. She would not listen. She would not compromise, because everything I've heard in this call is what she wants. And anything he wants, from what I have heard in this call, is going to be determined by her. She says, you can have the truck when we can save up the money for it. Again, when you are a relationship of more than one, you may have to do some compromising.
Dave Ramsey.
We've had lots of talks on this truck, and he knows I don't agree. And he says, I'll never agree. I handle big purchases. Well, I just paid off a $300,000 home. I can handle big purchases. I just can't handle down purchases.
So okay.
She paid it off? Like she herself? Or should she have said, we paid it off?
You got to give us a little bit more here. I'm sorry. I'm going to dig a little bit, Rachel.
Mortgage rates have dropped. chillmortgage.com.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. So this conversation, he's been on board and paying off the house and the debt and, and the baby steps. But how long has the I'm going to go into debt for a Raptor, how long has that conversation been going on? And when was the last time it was had before 3 a.m. this morning?
Right. So maybe for the past 2 months, he's like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care what it takes.
And you say,
I'm not on board with you. Not at all. I don't agree.
Okay.
Yep.
So while today was the day.
Wait, hold on. He's literally driving across country as you are watching this video. Because like I said, this just happened yesterday. I can guarantee it to you, this is not the first time he has expressed to her about something that he wants, and she says, I disagree. You know, it's almost like she's digging her own grave here. Like if she would be a horrible witness. She'd be, let's see, if somebody were to take her to court, she would sink her own defense. Okay? First off, I don't believe that it's only been 2 months that he has said this. Nah. He has said this before. And then she says that his comment to him was, you know, you never agree to big purchases. Now, here's the only way I'm going to be willing to swim backwards on this. She paid for the entire house. Like, this all came from her money. And then he goes out to buy a truck, again, on her money. That would be the only way I'd go, okay, now I see a problem. You know, she's fronting all the money for this. But if this was a normal, you know, we're paying the mortgage together, then no. She cries a lot. I'm just saying, oh, she cries a lot.
He'd been kind of tipping his hand that he was going to go do this, and I'm going to go get a loan. How big is the loan?
Well, he's going to trade in his truck. We had another $30,000, and so I think it'll be around $30,000.
Could be worse. I was going, please don't get yourself some $80,000 vehicle. It could be worse. $30,000. I mean, it sucks that go back into debt again. Okay, that, I mean, and for a vehicle. Okay, I personally don't agree with it. Okay, but like I said, when you're in a relationship with someone, it can't just be me.
And how much is left on the house again?
$5,000.
Yeah.
They can afford their truck, technically, if they've paid off the house. Okay, in an ideal world, yes, you'd be debt-free for forever and ever, the end. But $30,000, it could be a whole... Guys, my new Saturn that I just paid off after 9 payments, because I saved for part in advance. Okay, so I paid it off December 2024. So it's been paid off for like, what is it? You know, I paid off like a month ago. A little over a month ago. The truck in today's day and age, if the whole bill is $30,000, it's not highly unreasonable. Of course, we're not looking at the rest of their debt, and we don't know their vehicle history. But just on the surface, my Saturn was $26,000.
So I really, in the big scheme of things,
I meant my Toyota Corolla hybrid, not the Saturn.
we'll pay it off quickly. I'm just angry.
How much you got? Well, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, and the anger and the hurt comes from not being heard at all, and that your opinion doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how the husband feels. Guarantee it to you. He's angry. He's hurt. He did everything the little woman wants. He's done everything she wants. And every time she doesn't get what she wants, she goes into tears and crying. Mark my words. And this was just one time he stood up and he said, I ain't falling for the tears.
That there's no pause in the person you're doing life with, your partner, your spouse, that there's no back and forth. It's this like dominant I one way, and you know, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah,
that is hurtful in anything, right? And this could be,
you know, the callers sometimes get, you know, well, who do we have here? We have the lovely Rachel Cruz. And who is it she's co-hosting with? I should know it by their voices now. I think it's George. Sometimes they get so wrapped up in looking at opinions from just the caller's viewpoint that they forget there's another side. Not hating, okay? But just sometimes all it takes is a little woman crying and they're like, oh my God, your husband really is just a horrible man. He's selfish. I can't believe he did that to you.
a husband calling us and his wife's like, I don't care, I'm going to go do what I want to do. Like, I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's not a,
look,
you know, a wife-husband thing.
How many calls have we taken where the woman has hidden tons of credit card debt from the husband? Hey, goes both ways, folks.
It's a spouse, right? Like you're.
I mean, Rachel and I commiserate with you. We're here to listen, here to encourage you. But I can tell you right now, this is a marriage therapy session or 2 or 3 or 6.
That's exactly what I said at the beginning. That's exactly what I said. This is not about a truck, family. The truck is just the symbol of the volcano that's been brewing down below. In fact, I wouldn't be half surprised if he came back and said, Mildred, I'm out. I got my truck. You got your house. I'm gone. I'm just kidding about that. But this really isn't about a truck. It isn't.
No, I'm serious.
That's how I feel today, for sure.
Does this sound like him, Jana? I'm curious. I'm like, is this? Oh yeah, I could see him doing this.
I can't believe he's driving across country for this.
Well, not that, but I'm just saying, not listening to you, not the actual idea of buying a truck, but this idea that he would go make a decision that you so adamantly do not want him to make, and he still makes it.
Is this a pattern?
Does that happen in other parts of your marriage?
No, not at all. Not at all. We have a great marriage, and
baloney. You don't have a great marriage. You're at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're bawling your eyes out. You're calling to the Ramsey show because your husband had made you upset. No, this is not a great marriage. Stop lying to yourself. It's a great marriage so long as you get what you want. And when you don't get what you want, you sit and you cry on the phone over it. And if you're not crying to the Ramsey show, you're probably crying to your gal pals about how wicked and awful your husband is. Seriously. This is not a great marriage then. Put the words right out in front. Okay, this is not a great marriage. I'm not saying marriages don't have their ups and downs. Of course they do. Every relationship does. But don't sit and ignore your responsibility in the marriage as to why your husband is dismissing what it is that you want. Because it's been brewing in him for some time. And he's been trying to tell you, but you will not listen. Because you're so wrapped up in what you want. Yeah, that's a therapy couch for you. I would make a lousy therapist. Oh, I would so suck at it. They'd be like, Carrie, you're fired. But really, she has convinced herself this is a great marriage. But what did, it's Ken, not George, I'm sorry. What did Ken just say, though? This is a counseling session or something, okay? 3, 4, 5, and sessions. And I started out, family. I started at the beginning of the show. Remember, I do not listen to these calls in advance because I want the tea spilled along with you. Okay, and I said just by the sound of it, okay, the depth of those tears, the hurt, yada yada. I know I say yada yada. It's my little thing. Okay, but just by the sound of it, I went, this isn't about a truck, and I guarantee to you, when they come back, they're going to have a full-blown argument over it. And he just may take that truck, turn around and say, I've had enough, woman. And a little part of me, maybe it's that little devilish part inside of me, I'm kind of glad he did it. Because this is not the first time she has behaved like this. This is not new. Okay? This isn't the first time. And she goes, oh, it's the first time. She just thinks it's the first time because it's the first time he grew a pair and said, I'm doing my own thing. We cannot mistake and think that just because it's like, oh my goodness, they actually stood up to me. But all this time, we were just a great couple. We were wonderful. Yes, it was great and wonderful because you got everything you wanted. And then when you didn't get what you wanted, now all of a sudden you're in tears on the Dave Ramsey show. Sigh.
Great relationship.
Yeah, and I think this guy has been on board, and he was like, okay, this all makes a lot of sense. But what also makes sense is after we do all this, we can handle the truck payment, and I'm gonna go do it. He's been telegraphing this for months.
Yeah. How much do you guys make?
They should. I really wish the Ramsey show would hire me. I'm sorry, I'm arranging my stool. Seriously, they ought to hire me. I can figure this stuff out. Seriously. It isn't even that complicated, but what it does take is it takes the ability to really, really be truthful even when it hurts.
Make a year.
Yeah. I brought in, I think 137 last year, and he haven't finished up his yet, but it's between 140 and 145.
Oh, you're seriously? And she's crying over that? I bought, like I said, my Toyota Corolla Hybrid was $26,000, and I paid it off as a single school teacher just fine. just fine. I saved for about 30% of it first and then paid off the other, 60, 70%. Did that in 9 months. Was hoping to do it in 7, maybe 8, but I moved it forward by an extra month. But I'm happy with the 9-month payoff. And she's crying. That's what she's crying over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a crisis based on what I'm hearing, but I do think this is a marital. No, listen, I'm trying to validate your feelings.
See, she wasn't listening. Now imagine being her husband. Imagine being her husband and trying to tell her something. I guarantee you, this is the type of woman that will talk right over you.
Everything you're feeling, I completely understand. And I completely understand, why you're feeling that. I think you should feel that. But I don't think that there's only so much, and I'm saying this philosophically, there's only so much, Rachel, I can do today other than say, man, we feel you. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's a good marriage move. Should have talked it through. Should have come up with an alternative plan. He knows how much this means to you.
She knew how much the truck meant to him.
But then I will also say the reason that why I believe you guys need to sit with a marriage therapist is because I can also see, I don't agree with his action at all, but I think I'm seeing a window into this dude. And I think he thinks it's justified. And here's what I would say, not knowing him at all. And if I met him for the first time, I said, hey, Jana just called me on the show and she told me what happened. Hey, listen, bro. I don't think you think that's as big a deal as it is. It's a big deal. I think he's
minimized it.
I think so.
And this is why part of me believes that counseling sucks. Not all counseling, but because so oftentimes, remember, if you've been following my channel for a while, okay, I've dipped into the so-called family counseling that we did. And what have I said? Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. God, that was god-awful. And you know why I thought it was god-awful? Because oftentimes we come in, I noticed that the counselor, who was a friend with my mother's, God rest her soul, okay? But they come in with preconceived notions about the role that the man must have played and the role that the woman must have played. Now, I'm not saying in all counseling sessions all the time that they suck. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is my personal experience sucked. My personal experience about a lot of counseling is exactly what we're hearing here. And I'm a big fan of the Ramsey show. Obviously, I've done a few hundred commentaries on them. But here's the bottom line. There's a lot of that preconceived. Yep, that's the guy. He screwed up. That's the little woman. You made her unhappy. To me, counseling should be about, let's get down to the role that each person has played. Each person. Each. Not just what the guy did. All right? But what did you as the little woman do? You dismissed him? You ignored his feelings? You've done this for a long time? He's felt like he feels like his whole job is to do what you want him to do. This is the problem I have with a lot of counseling sessions and why I typically don't do counseling. Again, not all counselors, not all sessions. Just the ones I've attended, pretty much growing up. I didn't like them. Just saying.
Yeah.
And I think because he's justified.
And because he makes almost $300,000 a year.
He's crunched numbers. We're paid off the house. We have no debt.
We'll pay it off in 2 months or whatever.
In his mind, and I'm not defending him.
No.
But I am trying to make maybe, Jana, you feel a little bit better.
There you go. There's the counseling session. We can't defend the man because that'll tick off the woman, and I'm using the nice word. So we're going to make sure that the woman, it's like counseling sessions is more of where the woman is supposed to walk out happy and the man's supposed to walk out with his tail tucked between his legs because he was the naughty person. These are the counseling sessions I've sat in. Just saying, okay? It's exactly like that. Oh, well, I can't tell you why I side with the guy. No, if the guy's right, you side with the guy. If her actions were sucky, selfish, one direction, and his actions were justified, then we need to be able to open our mouths and say, yes, the guy was justified. But in my experience, and I've sat through a whole lot of counseling sessions, I'm keeping my language clean for the YouTube algorithm, okay? But what's going on in my head is, honest to God, that's the problem. Well, we can't, if the woman is the one that's in counseling, you don't dare tell her that she's wrong and the husband's actually right. I told you I wouldn't last as a counselor a day, because I'd look at it and I'd go, no, lady, you're wrong. Your husband is right. Yeah, I see exactly why he's divorcing you. I wouldn't want to be married to someone like you either. You see? So Ken's trying to play it nice so the caller doesn't get upset on the phone. No, maybe the caller needs to get upset on the phone. Maybe she needs to really hear it. Hey, your marriage is in crisis. You don't think it is because he's done everything you've wanted and he just got tired of it. And now you're debt free. Guess what? He's in the best position of his life to decide if he even wants to stay.
I think this is a situation where he is completely unaware of how he is truly making you feel.
We don't give men enough credit for what they observe. We seem to, I don't know what it is, but so many people think that men walk around just totally unaware of what the wife feels. Of course they know what the wife feels. What I question is, are the women truly aware of what the man feels? Really? We don't give men enough credit for the things that they observe and the things that they feel. But you see, we can't give them too much credit, especially in a counseling session, because if you do, then the little woman will be upset. And we don't want to upset the little woman. This is not all counselors, by any means. It's just my experience, having sat in years of family counseling. I'd rather be TikToking.
I think he's clueless. And I'm not insulting him. I'm saying we are all that way in relationships at times, where we are in a place where we're not healthy enough or we're not attached enough that we don't realize what we're doing.
Yeah, in the truck conversations that you guys have been having in the last few months, Jana, have you said, I would love for you to get this truck. Let's map it out. And in May, let's take a road trip and go pick up this truck together. I'm so excited for this truck for you. Like,
And whose terms are those under? Again, whose terms are those under? Those are under her terms. And since we're talking about terms anyways, about buying a truck, our next story is coming up right now, and it's about a woman who's furious that her husband bought a truck because, as she said, it was against her will. Let's do it.